What's going on, guys? It's your boy Phrankleen. Right, we're going to talk about the black tax. Is the black tax a demise of the the black community? Right. First of all, if this is your first time, if you land on this video, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for joining me. I'm the brain behind this channel. If you like what I'm about, be sure to give me the thumb button, give me the like button. Okay. So I've had several emails from. First of all, forgive me if I look a bit sweaty. Very hot today, in the UK. Summertime is very hot today, and I've got the fan on and stuff. Anyway, yeah, you and day braids. It's really hot, man. Mad hot. I've had to stop the fan so that it doesn't have a terrible background noise. What's up, Nick's in Texas? So, what's it called, man? I've had several emails lately from people watching my channel talking about the black taxes, particularly those of us in diaspora, people that send money back home and all that. Before I carry on, some of you who have been on my channel or used to some of my previous videos, I have a video that you need to go and watch. If you look through the popular section of my videos, it actually says stop giving money to your family. Okay, that was one of my early videos for this segment called Say Like It Is. Yeah. So, but lately I've had several emails from people who are talking about, black tax, who are diasporans, people that are hardworking, they have jobs, workers, some of them doctors, some of them lawyers, some of them have businesses and all that, and people are banging on about how they're struggling financially because they have a truckload of responsibility, from back home. They're having to churn out a ton of money to family members and stuff like that. Because this is a live video, so at the time of filming this, I cannot put links and stuff, but later I'm going to go on my computer and I would link that, video. If you've not seen it, look through my videos. It says, stop giving money to your family. And whilst that video gained a lot of views, it had a mixed bag of responses. I had some people bombarding my inbox as well as the comment section, and some were talking about, "Oh, Franklin, are you suggesting that people should stop helping their families?" And I always put a disclaimer: I am not suggesting that you should be cruel to your family or you shouldn't be nice to your family, but I'm just telling you to use your brain. Hi, Tochuku. Use your brain, be objective, think about yourself. Um, it's a very common practice, for those that live abroad. I'm sure most of you can relate. And people grind, people work really hard. This is why I'm saying this is going to be a bit similar to what I've done before. But this particular person emailed me a couple of days ago and talked about the black tax, and which is sort of like a name that white folks have given us for those of us that put, send money back home and stuff. And this, hey, Kabiru, thank you, bro. Thank you. I appreciate it. So this issue of black tax, stems from, we Africans. You might be the only person who's traveled abroad, and back home you got mom and dad, you got siblings. You are the only person who's made it out overseas. You might be in the UK, you might be living in the US, Germany, Amsterdam, Australia. The list goes on. You live abroad. So the general perception is you have access to hard currency. So for that reason, you have a ton of money. You should be able to send a ton of money back home for people to live off. What happens is people ignore the fact that you have growing number of responsibility as well. You have monthly bills. You have things that go out that you have to pay for. For example, you live here in the UK. You have your rent or your mortgage. You pay for your car. Your car. You have to put gas in your car. You have to pay for your transportation. You have to pay for your weekly food shopping, your credit card bills, your student loans, and the list goes on. If you got kids, you have to pay for your child care and so many other things. Okay, this is normal. You live abroad, you have bills. Those bills have to go out monthly. Okay, my bill may be, different to the next person's. The next person may be different to mine. But the fact, one thing that connects everyone that lives abroad is we'll have bills to pay. Bills are inevitable. You have to pay them monthly. So, and as you know, I don't care how much you earn monthly, even if you earn £5,000, you have to pay. Once you're done with your bills, your outgoings, as you know them, then you look for look at what is left. What is left is what we regard as disposable income, which you can then say, oh, I'm going to put this in my savings or investment, or I'm going to use this to treat myself and stuff like that. So the email that I got a couple of days ago, this gentleman sent me an email saying, he's not able to invest and do things like his white counterpart. He lives here in the UK, and what is he trying to say? He's unable to go on holidays, unable to save up and get a mortgage, and because why? Monthly, when he gets tons of money, he has to send money to a ton of people back home, and he's worried about getting older and stuff. Look, at the end of this, I'm gonna put a link. Like I said, if because this is live right now, I'm gonna link to that video. That video is detailed, but I'm gonna go through it again. Look, the truth is, you have to learn to say no. You have to learn to be selfish. I've said this before, this is my own view. You have to look after you. I've seen people, and I'm talking from personal point of view, people that live abroad. You have kids, you have wife, you have bills to pay and stuff. And the fact is, the folks back home don't give a toss about you. They don't care. All people just know is, hey man, it's another end of the month, and we're waiting for that, for that paycheck. And if you don't send the money, there is that emotional abuse, and there is that guilt tripping and making you feel like you're a bad person. You've got to learn to say no, because I'll give you a classic example. You live here in the UK, you earn £2,500 after tax as a permanent job. That is regarded as a good income. Maybe you live in London, you've got to pay your rent, your council tax, you got to pay for your car, you got to pay all the bills and stuff. Then you send money back home to people and stuff like that. This is what I say to people. So maybe 400, 500, £600 you send home monthly. So the truth of the matter is, you're living from paycheck to paycheck. Like somebody sending an email to me that he hasn't got any savings, and he's been been living in this country for donkey years because he has to cater for three siblings and two parents. So I asked this gentleman via email, how old are your siblings? You have a 32-year-old sibling, you have a 28-year-old sibling, and you have a 25-year-old, a 32-year-old sibling. They're not disabilitated, they're not mentally retarded, they're not bedridden. You're sending thousands of naira to a 32-year-old grown man on a monthly basis. And to make it worse, he has a wife and two kids. So that person can't go, sorry, I'm actually sweating, man. That person can go out to grind and make their own bread. You see, this is why I'm saying that we diasporans, you're the one behind your own problems. You're the one. It's a self-inflicted problem, because we apply sentiments. You think they're gonna look at me. They're gonna say this. Oh, they're gonna call me a failure. Man, I think it's stupid. You are catering for three grown-ups, inclusive of your parents. Look, taking care of your parents is subjective, right? And I would never sit here and say, oh, don't look after your parents, or don't give to them and stuff. I do what I can within reasonable parameters for my parents. Okay? I take care of them within reasonable parameters. So the idea is not just, I'm not going to tell you off the jump, hey, don't take care of your parents, but you must think about you. Because look, I use the word because at the end of the day, financial freedom is what everyone is looking for. If you're not financially free, you're going to die in the rat race. I'm looking for financial freedom. I'm working towards it. I'm working towards it. I want to break free. You see, let me digress very quickly. Most of us, we come from pretty religious backgrounds. And unfortunately, you will find people praying and saying, I cast out the spirit of poverty. I reject poverty. Poverty is not my portion. That's absolute failure. That statement disgusts me. Look, poverty is not a spirit, it's not something you can cast out. Poverty is man made. So, how do we alleviate poverty? How do we get rid of poverty? We have to build financial infrastructures, we have to build wealth. We have to make clever, sensible investments whilst we're young. So look at me now. Whilst I'm young, whilst I've still got energy, whilst you can move from A to B, you have to make sensible decisions with your money so that when I get to my 60s and 70s, I can look back, I can lean back, I can leave off my investment. I can be able to pass that wealth to the next generation if they're deserving of it. Does that make sense? And this whole idea of people have been mentally chained by religion and thinking you can pray out poverty. That's why most of us in the black race we're playing catch up. That's why some other races look at us and think that that we're not there mentally. This is why they have this kind of blanket, sort of how do I say, this sort of blanket, analysis of black folks, and some other races think they're better than us. You know why? Because they think we're stupid, but we're not. Because people pray, people actually go to churches, people actually go to religious institution. You pay money to fellow human beings. You're casting out demons. There is nothing like that. How do we alleviate poverty? We need to go back to our drawing boards, and you see that your salary, that money, the pounds, the dollars that you're making, the euros, you have to be disciplined. So if at the end of the month you're able to put £1,000 aside, £800 aside, £3,000 aside, the question is, financial freedom does not come from piling up money in the bank. I've been there before. I'm not going to lie to you. When I was a lot younger than this, when I was financially naive, when I was financially illiterate, when I wasn't properly informed, you just pile up money in the bank. You keep looking at it. You think, oh, just leaving it in the savings. And what happens is one or two incidents happens. Back home, crazy demands, they extort you, you spend that money. Before you know, you knife that money, you go into it, and then you end up being angry, you're frustrated, and then and yeah, I agree with what you're saying, the role with tradition and culture. This is why I'm saying I'm going to link my previous video. All of these things that we tell ourselves about. Sorry, I'm really sweaty, man. I'm trying not to switch on the fan so that it's not noisy. It's really warm here today in the UK, man. Of course, it's not as hot as Nigeria. But as I was saying, you've got to learn to say no. This old black tax, oh, it's our culture. You know what? Help those you can help, but you cannot put yourself in a back burner. You can't put yourself on the shelf. You cannot. Because look, let me put it to you this way. When you throw all your resources away in your prime, when your bones are still strong, when you can move from A to B, when you fling your resources away, yeah, in the name of you live abroad, you're trying to help the whole world, the whole family, you know what? I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this is fact and facts only. When you go broke, when you ain't got money to pay your bills, when you haven't got money, you haven't even got a piece of land to yourself, when you turn to the said family, don't be surprised that they're the same persons that will turn around and call you a failure. They're the ones that will pull out the calendar and tell you donkey years in the UK, in the US, in Germany, oh, I'm doing this and this, you have nothing to show for it. And you know what's going to be left on the plate for you? You're going to sit down and start talking stories about, oh, I remember back in this and this, I gave this person £5,000, I was the one that helped. It's all stories, man. It's all stories. This is why I say to people, I actually bumped into somebody a couple of days ago who recognized me, and we were talking, and I said to the brother, he said a similar thing about, oh, he works really hard. He has 2 jobs here in the UK, and his mother was saying he's selfish, he's very greedy because he's expected to help his 2 siblings. And this guy said in the past couple of years, he managed to raise £7,000 for those 2 siblings to set up a small business for each person. He said They spent the money, they squandered the money, there's nothing to show for it. And his mother is putting pressure on him to raise yet another money. So I told him, I said, bro, you're the brain behind this problem. Because why? You are afraid to say no. Tell your mother to have a seat. If it's frustrating enough, change your phone number. They're not going to die. I've seen, look, somebody's watching this. I'm telling you, man, this is raw. This is for real. This is not being sugar coated. I know people. I've personally seen people who leave abroad. Some people, if you open their wardrobe, they don't even have up to three trousers or two shirts. You know why? Because when they grind every month, when they get that paycheck, they pay the bills. They they don't even feed properly. They don't go out. They don't socialize. They take a chunk of that money and they send it back home. And we've heard tons and tons of cases where people are reliant on the same families. Hey man, can you help me build a house? Can you help me buy a piece of land? They let you down. They steal the money. They squander the money and stuff. And this word black tax, it's being thrown around a lot, and it's true. It's reflective of what goes on in our community. A lot of people can't boast of savings, zero investments, live abroad for donkey years, and there's absolutely nothing to show for it. You've got to learn. There is no, unfortunately, I haven't got any crazy, recipe to give you, a template. But the crazy template that I'm going to hand to you, somebody watching this, try it. When you work hard, when you pay your bills, and you have like a little $900 left, $1,000 left, £1,000 left. Some of you got kids, man. You want to take a holiday next year. Why not? You work hard. You deserve it. You want to see the world. You decide that you want to change your car. You decide that you want to buy a home. You have to save up for that deposit for the mortgage, but you can't because you're having to send three grown men to university. And if you stop sending money, they're going to tell you you're wicked. So for that, you deprive yourself in the cold, in the rain, in the winter season, in the summer season. You're busting your backside, but because of family, because you want to keep them happy back home, you deprive yourself. Some people, these sort of things, I've seen it. They break marriages, they destroy relationships because when financial tension creep in the name of I'm trying to keep my mother happy, right? You can't even take your wife out for a meal and you live under the same roof in the name of, oh, I'm the firstborn, I'm trying to keep my siblings happy. Nah, you've got to learn to say no. Somebody's watching this, it may not be a cup of tea, that's absolutely fine. But the only way, like I said already, the only way you're going to be able to have something set aside for yourself and be able to have investment and be able to live a good life, be able to have things to pass on to your children, if you've got any children, the only way you're going to be able to have financial freedom that virtually every one of us is craving for is to be financially sensible, to be financially disciplined, and you've got to just say no. I know people who don't even have life insurance. I've said this before about all this, in the previous video, but for the sake of somebody who's watching this, um, people dying back home and people telling you to bring X amount of money, just say no. Point blank, simple. Say no. Financial freedom, because I'm going to close on this. Lack of financial freedom is why a lot of us within the black community is why we are trapped in poverty. Believe me, because when you're caught up in this 9 to 5, you can barely survive. When you pay your bills, when you do these things, you have barely any extras to live off. Month after month, week after week, year after year, you travel back home. Everybody and your mama is expecting you to cut them a check. And your little £1,600 a month. Ajiro Michael, ask me a question, bro. Please, ask me a question. Your little $2,000 is all you have to live off. So, like I said, taking care of your parents and siblings, I say with all due respect, I'm just giving you my own views. And it's subjective, but use your brain, man. You got to be selfish. You got to think about yourself. Somebody sent me an email about a few weeks ago and said um, his relationship with his wife has actually hit the rocks. You know why? Because every month this guy sends home £900. So imagine what £900 can do to your household. You're a married man, you have two children, you live abroad, you're not rich, you work two jobs, and you're taking £900. You're sending home £900 every month, and your wife can see that. Your children are lacking. Um, the blackmail, yeah, fear and stuff. And you know what's even funny? You know what's even funny? £900 a lot of money. And you know what's even funny? You know some of the people that you're sending money to. If you go home sometimes, if you go home by surprise without announcing your travel, you will be shocked. You find how they are living. They live in large, they're living comfortably. Well, £200 is enough. That depends on who you're sending the money to, the number of people you're catering to. You know, some people send, a gentleman sent an email that he gives money to his family, but he um, he sends money every 2 months to allow himself to cater for his bills. He even said to me that some months he might not have a lot of money, he just gives them £100. Of course. Open the window if you can, bro. You're drowning in your sweat. Bro, the window is wide open. The window is opened. Look, I've actually got a fan here. Look, I've got a standing fan. I'm trying not to run the fan because of the video, so that you guys can hear me clearly. That's why. The window is wide open. It's just very warm today, man. Let me read that comment. Is it nice for one to pay back the money the elder brother used to sponsor him on a trip to get a job, and after paying the sponsored money, he's still saying he wants you to pay him percentage too? That's a bit complex, you know. I am, unfortunately, if you have a situation where your older brother is the one that sent you abroad, helped you abroad, and maybe he had to dip his hands in the pocket and to help you maybe go have a good life abroad and stuff. I get that. You know, as soon as you start grinding, I think it's only fair, it's only sensible that you pay back that money. Does that make sense? Because different people, different stories. I know some people, let's be candid. I love that question. But if your older brother genuinely got out of his way to borrow money, you know, so that you can get your visa, so you can go travel abroad. Once you start working, hey, that's a totally different conversation. I think it's fair for you to, you know, because then he might also be caught up in a financial entrapment. He might have borrowed that money and they're chasing him. But once you've done that, what we're talking about is people being on your payroll monthly, and then you are having to, you know, pay them or churn out huge amount of money. This black tax thing, I'm going to end up on this, is the reason why so many of us are unable to be financially buoyant, unable to have a substantive amount to invest into, because people pay out. That's just an example. A woman said to me in an email that she sends them 1,100 monthly. She works 3 jobs. I think it's mind blowing. It's crazy because in 10 months you've sent over £12,000, and the woman lives in one room here in London. Now she's having knee problem. It's too much. It's a lot of money. And she said to me, "Oh, she's helping a younger brother who has 2 children. Himself and his wife are not working. Why would they work? You are sending them over £1,000 at the current exchange rate at the time of filming this, 463 naira to a pound. So you're pretty much giving them over 500k monthly. Why would they work? They're not gonna work. They are on your payroll, and you are here. You are lounging. You're suffering. You don't have anything to show for it. All you do is just tell people stories. This is what I say to people. This is why people die in abject poverty. £1,200. That's a lot of money. And you have 3 jobs. Our people are mental liabilities to breadwinners. That's why breadwinners. Do you know what? Yeah, brother, get yourself a face towel. Oh, okay, okay. All right, all right, all right. 1 second. 1 second. Ah, yeah. I think I look fresh now. I look a lot better. I've been drinking all day, man. I've been drinking a lot of water. Just have a shower twice. It's really warm today, man. Yeah, so that's it, man. The black tax, it's just something. It's a curse on the black community. Break yourself, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Break free. Don't allow anybody to use emotional, abuse and all that crap to tie you down, to fleece you. Because at the end of the day, let me tell you, man, um, Mr. Adewale, my windows are open. It's just happened that the sun is very warm today, man. No, I'm not in Nigeria. I'm here in the UK. So, like what I'm saying to you is, you got to learn to say no, break yourself free from all this financial nonsense so that you have investment. You have some £1,200 at the end of the tax year. The ladies toast. She'll have extra to pay HMRC. Yeah, people are broke. People are suffering. People are suffering. People are genuinely suffering. So, if you allow yourself to be tied in sentiments, oh, because I don't want to upset my mom and dad, because I don't want to upset my brother, how can you be here in the UK? You're working hard, and you're telling me that you're paying out £1,000, £900 to a 32-year-old man, a 28-year-old, and a 25-year-old. They need to get out and go grind. They need to go get their own money. And you are here working 3 jobs. Ah. Anyways, it's your boy Phrankleen. What do you think? Let's keep that conversation going on below, man. Kazim, no, I don't keep AC because we really don't use AC here, man. Usually summer is for a bit and then stuff. I've learnt my lessons. Learn to say no. Protect your finance with every fiber in your body. Don't let anybody try to make you feel guilty. You break your backside, protect your money, invest wisely. Think about your future, think about your children, think about them going to college, think about your retirement. Trust me. Because you know why? When you know what? Nobody likes a broke person, man. Let's call a spade a spade. Those people you're sending money to, when you have nothing to show for it, when you go back to those people, they're not going to give you jack squat. They will turn their back on you and ask you to get lost. I know people who have been sending money to relatives. They got to Nigeria, and those relatives have built homes, they have businesses, and this person doesn't even have a piece of land to them. Trust me. You know what I mean? So, cut yourself from black tax. I don't do black tax. I give willingly. I give within reasonable parameters. Does that make sense? If I, okay, mom and dad, I've got, elderly parents. So if I buy them drugs and things from here, medication for their joints and stuff, if I want to treat my dad, I go out and buy clothing and shoes and stuff. I operate within reasonable parameters. Nobody is saying don't take care of your parents and stuff. Don't do things blindly. One of the things somebody will call you, mama is ill. Oh, papa is ill. They're in hospital. They said 150,000 naira. It's a lie. They probably had malaria and all the medication they're going to need to treat them, maybe just 10,000 naira and that's it. And somebody else takes about 140K. They are out there drinking Origin and living large. Do you know how much a bag of cement is? Do you know how much somebody was telling me the other day online, they spent about 800,000 naira to do the foundation of a 4-bedroom bungalow in Nigeria. And then the guy is already building up until the lintel. Did you hear that? 800K, they can take that from you within few months. And somebody will use your money to build a foundation and start building their home. And then you're here, you're working, and you don't even have jack squat to your name. So you go to Nigeria at Christmas period, you're forming, oh yeah, I'm from the UK, bruv. Oh, I'm from London, you get me. You get there, you realize, Tunde is living in a 4-bedroom house. Yep. Oh, you goddamn right. Whilst you remain broke. In terms of investment, whatever floats your boat, whatever works for you, just be clever with your finances. Don't get caught up in the black tax, cycle. Getting my 500,000 naira, which I gave last. Thanks a lot for this video. Hopefully, I'll send you an email soon. All right, if you want to contact me, gotta go now, man. Gotta switch on the fan. I'm roasting, man. Thank you, guys. And it's your boy, Phrankleen. If you want to send me an email, foodchannel1960 at gmail.com. All right, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace and love. Bye now.